Most people eat shit. Most people think that something's wrong with them when in reality they're just poisoned. And once you begin to break from a couple of these habits, you begin to realize, oh, this is a better life. And then you realize that food isn't only used to keep you stupid, but it's also an addiction, right? So why wouldn't big food companies want to create addicting factors or addicting properties to your food so that they keep you hooked? I mean, look at, not going into crazy conspiracies, but look at Kobe Bryant, right? When his helicopter crashed, which is crazy to think about, he was actually in the middle of a lawsuit. He was about to start to testify against the supplement brand that he had partnered with because they had found traces of methamphetamines inside the pre-workout. It's just to hook motherfuckers, right? So
fucking hell.
He died, but I don't know if he died for that. Who knows, right? Maybe the 20-year pilot just experienced that one day, it just made no sense. But they're poisoning your food, not only to fuck you, but also to keep you in the rat race of addiction.
Talk me through how you stay on track with your food when you're traveling, because like even for me, like,
no seed oils, brother.
But how do you, not necessarily how do you know, but where do you eat? How do you eat? Because even for me, like in like a bodybuilding diet, which would still have a lot of fruit and veg, it's very difficult to be able to even like find it, right? Without yakking up a shit ton of like oil or fats or carbs. Very difficult traveling.
It's funny. I brought a suitcase with me full of food.
Man, same.
Yeah, dude. Obviously, like
the exact same thing.
Obviously, most people can't do that. I get it, but I just went to my local grocery store, figured out organic things that can actually have a 30-day, 60-day shelf life. Brought organic raw cheese. It's in my fridge. I know it sounds crazy and mental, but I feel fucking good.
Yeah.
Better than me walking into one of these places that have genetically modified bullshit seed oil food that is going to make me feel like shit. So I stick to pretty clean diet across the board, even when I'm traveling. But Asia's hard, bro. Asia is a little bit difficult with the food. I think
it's oil, right?
Yeah, I think Europe is really, really good. Most of Europe with getting rid of genetically modified and highly processed foods. And in the US, even though it's fucked up, you can still have pretty decent alternatives.
My opinion on the US is quite strange.
Tell me.
So my partner is from America, and first time I went to America was last year for a podcast. And I'm very split. I think on one side it's impossible to be poor because there's so much opportunity. On the other side, I think it's so hard to be rich because people are oppressing you. On one side, I think it's impossible to be skinny and fit because the food is so bad. On the opposite side, I think it's so difficult to be fat because there's whole food and there's a lot of good food companies there. So it's so wide, and in between you have everybody.
You have choice. You have a lot of choice in the US, but people obviously go to the path of least resistance. So what I've come to realize, you look at the food companies that kind of operate in the US ecosystem, and it's controlled by 4 or 5 big conglomerates. You have Nestle, you have a couple companies that kind of run the entire game. So they give you the freedom or the illusion of freedom of choice that look how many chip options there are. Look how many canned meal options there are. Look how many different recipes that I can actually cook up. And then you look at the ingredients and they're all altered versions of the exact same thing. For example, you go to the United States early in the morning, 5, 6 in the morning, and you have 4 or 5 restaurants: McDonald's, Chick-fil-A, Burger King, and Taco Bell. And in the morning at 4, 5, 6 in the morning, you have Cisco, which is the food company that delivers all the same ingredients to all the businesses the same way. So yeah, they'll add a couple spices, a couple ingredients, but it's an illusion of choice. You don't really have a choice. In order to have choice, you need to make real decisions, right? You need to actually choose what you're going to eat and determine that. But once you take away that masquerade of the logo, the ingredients are the same thing from the same manufacturer.
What do you think about some of the bigger chains like Whole Foods and these brands that are meant to be healthy for you? Like even their
Whole Foods is bullshit. So most of Whole Foods is not organic. I just stay to organic, clean, as least refined and as least processed as possible. The less ingredients your food has when it comes to looking at, dude, if you look at the back of a package of chips and it has more than just potatoes and then some healthy oil to deep fry it and it has all this crazy shit, that's not food. That's not food. So I like to limit how much processed food I actually intake, which is not a lot, and just stick to clean diet, bro. It's so life-changing. It's so life-changing. I think it's one of, if not the hardest things to change, because it's so addicting to get out of that. I remember when I used to be super addicted to refined sugars, and dude, I would tell my family, or I would tell my girl, oh, I'm gonna cut candy, right? And then I would find myself with sugar cravings at 1 a.m, sneaking out of my house, going to the gas station and loading up with chips, candy, sodas, and coming back to the house. Dude, that's not fucking normal behavior. That's not normal. It's weird. It's fucking deranged behavior. That's lunacy. That's addiction. And I felt fucked up every time I did it, but I continued doing it. So if you continue doing something that you know is bad for you, but it's addicting, then you need to understand that there's a process of detox that needs to take place. Just like you would detox and have withdrawals from any sort of actual drug, sugar is a drug. You're gonna have fucking serious withdrawals. And I think it took me about 2 years to actually get over intense sugar cravings. But I haven't had that candy bullshit ever since. So.